Broadcasting live from Itlamok, Cradle of the Sun, on the plane of Ixalan. This is Tap Tap Concede. Welcome, everybody. Graham here.
James here.
Kathleen here.
Sure.
Wait, Kathleen there.
You just started waving, so I thought you were going to start talking.
That's fair. I thought we were going to go down the line because I was just waving because he was saying hello.
Someday.
I mean, we could just stop and start the podcast again.
Yeah, we could.
Yeah.
Did you see Itlamok? It's like a new Gaia's Cradle.
Yeah, I saw it and I was like, holy crap. And then our Slack pinged because Ben literally typed, holy crap, what?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a card that was spoiled during the preview stream for MTG Arena, or Magic Arena.
And everybody briefly forgot what they were having spoiled for them when they saw that, I think.
So we'll talk about Magic Arena today and some Ixalan spoilers and possibly even some stuff from Iconic Masters, which is literally being spoiled live now as we're doing this because HasCon is happening presently.
Yeah, HasCon is happening. I mean,
It's happening to
depending on
all
when
of
this
us.
podcast goes up, it might still be happening.
Who knows? But before that, we'll do a crack-a-pack. And before that, we will remind you that Tap Tap Concede is brought to you by CardKingdom.com, the kingdom of cards. We recommend Card Kingdom because we literally use them ourselves. They'll ship singles anywhere in the world, ship sealed product anywhere in the U.S. You can sell them your cards, which I did a bunch of recently. And
if you are selling your cards and you want to, say, turn those old cards that you drafted into, say, new weird cards for a commander deck, which I'm going to be doing pretty quick, you can get like a 30% premium if you go for store credit, which is really nice.
Yeah. So if you go to cardkingdom.com/LRR, that lets them know that we sent you, which is helpful to us. And if you tell them Loading Ready Run sent me button, please, they'll give you a little 1-inch button with that we put funny phrases on. As of recording, they are out. New ones have been ordered. They are on the way. The next button should be strictly medium. So,
Like most cards in a draft.
Look forward to that. All right, Kathleen, you want to roll the big old
Sure. Can I
D20?
roll it by like throwing it towards Paul? Or?
Maybe into the corner instead of where all the gear is.
Uh-oh.
It's okay. It's okay.
I got it.
5. 1, 2, 3.
We have so many
4,
packs.
5.
Yes, thank you to everybody who gave us packs at PAX.
Yeah.
We are resplendent with packs, I think, at some point.
We haven't even put them in the box yet.
No.
There's probably about 25 or so packs just sitting here.
Half of that pile is actually from GP Vegas.
Oh, okay.
I just found those as well.
Jeez.
Oh,
we
we
have a lot.
might do a chaos draft
we
at
might
some
have to
time
do it.
again
We
to
might
get
have
through,
to.
because otherwise you might be waiting like 3 years for us to crack your packs.
This is a pack of Scourge.
Ooh, Scourge.
Scourge, your #1 source for Dragon and Dragon accessories. It says here on the note, this is from Johnny Kafka and Thaumaturgist from the chat.
Oh, nice.
I guess they sent this on mail time.
It has me in the box if you want.
Several
Sure.
months ago, probably. We do crack all your packs. We will get to them.
Yep.
And thank you so much for everybody who gives us these cool things.
First up is, oh right, this goes uncommons, rare. Okay, switch. All right, we're gonna build up to the rare. Old pack ordering. Frozen Solid. 1 blue. Enchant creature. Enchanted creature doesn't untap during its controller's untap step. So it's similar to, we were
It's
talking.
like a claustrophobia.
Yeah, we went off on narcolepsy last time. When damage is dealt to enchanted creature, destroy it.
That seems fine.
I mean, how are you supposed to deal damage to it if it doesn't untap?
I guess just
I mean,
burn.
direct damage. I mean, how much do you care about dealing damage to it if it doesn't untap, right? Like,
Yeah.
I feel like the second part is just for flavor of like, when like a cartoon character gets frozen solid, like the Tom and Jerry or
Oh
the...
yeah, and then you ping it and
Yeah.
Because
I guess that's more of an itchy and scratchy joke.
No, that's like pretty that's like Looney Tunes shorthand.
Yeah.
But I don't know why it's necessary.
well, I mean, there are things that can make things untap, so this is a nice contingent if
That's true,
if
actually.
they manage to untap the creature and you can
Yeah,
just
if they
be
have
like
any kind of twiddle effect
one
or
little
anything.
damage or
they
something
find their
like that.
enchantment removal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Sprouting Vines.
Yeah, they're like, well, I remove your enchantment. It's like, in response, I ping.
What amazing artwork. 2 and a green for an instant. Search your library for a basic land, reveal it, put it into your hand. Then shuffle your library with Storm.
Storm.
So
So it's a storm. Wait. Yeah.
yeah. Oh, this was reprinted in one of the commander sets.
Yeah.
Because that's the art I mean, that's the same. It's the same art, but that's the border you're looking at on
Yeah.
the screen. Wow. Instant speed.
Oh, there you go. Paul's got the old
Storm
version up
land.
now.
That's weird.
This seems like a card that would be super relevant for somebody.
I
I
don't
think
really...
maybe the fact that it's green is not so much.
Yeah, I
Like,
was gonna say what
green is not normally well known for storm.
Yeah, but
No.
I mean, you get. I guess it's because the land doesn't go into play, so it's like
Yeah.
maybe in Highlander, maybe if you have like fast bond.
Sure, yeah.
Basically, if Surge is running this in his Highlander lands deck, then it's good, and if not, then it's probably bad.
Get Surge on the line.
Because, I mean, the problem though is you have to have a reasonable amount of mana to even get a high storm count, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, theoretically with green you are ramping, so sure, but yeah.
So
I don't know.
so maybe you need like 4 or 5 mana before you can really use this properly.
Well, I mean, if you just have 3 mana open and your opponent like plays 2 things, then Storm Count will be. Then you'll get 3 instances of this.
That's true. It's an instant, so you don't have to rely on yourself to
Yeah.
do it.
Yep.
I don't know. Anyway, Torrent of Fire. 3 red for a sorcery. Torrent of Fire deals damage equal to the highest converted mana cost among permanents you control to target creature or player.
I mean, it's an unimpressive.
Clunky.
Yeah.
Unimpressive burn spell. It's okay. Like,
I for 5 mana, I want something that's actually gonna kill something.
Especially in this era of Magic.
Yeah.
That's like
That's bad.
bad.
yeah, like
Because the spells were good back then. There weren't. They usually the creatures were conditional and the spells were fine.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like you draw this and you only have like a 2-drop, and they have like like a grotesque 5/5 dragon or beast. You're like, well, 5 mana to do nothing,
Yeah.
still dead, right? Like not
That's sorcery.
quadrant theory.
Daru Spiritualist is 1 and a white for a 1/1 cleric. Whenever a cleric you control becomes the target of a spell or ability, it gets +0/+2 until end of turn.
oh
Cleric
God.
tribal.
Because clerics matter.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
This is so bad.
Hey, it becomes a 1/3 if you target it with something.
I mean, even a 1/3 for I would rather just a 1/3 for 2 and get rid of all the other text on this card.
Yeah.
Like, that's not very good.
Hey, this
Conditional
card-
1/3s for 2 are not good.
This card's come back a bunch of times. It's Twisted Abomination.
Oh, Twisted A-bomb.
Yeah. It's a 5/3 zombie mutant.
Yep.
For 5 and a black. So 6 mana for a 5/3. But it does have regeneration for a single black mana. But more notably, because it's shown up in Conspiracy and I think one of the commander sets, I'm not sure, it has Swamp Cycling. So
Interesting.
cycling, which we just saw in Amonkhet, is you pay an amount and you discard the card with cycling and then you draw a card. So the specific land cyclers like this guy, swamp cycling, is you pay 2 and discard it, and then you search your library for a swamp
Yep.
and put it into your hand and then shuffle.
So this is great if you can't cast. I like this. A very 5/3 for 6 isn't great, but the single mana regen is pretty good. It means blocks and trades really well and hard to kill.
And early on, if you're off black, because again, it's colorless mana to do that.
To do
Yeah.
it, yeah. It
So-
would be terrible if it wasn't.
No,
but
what
yeah.
a good card. That's a very nice card.
It was in Conspiracy, Arch Enemy,
Yeah,
and Eternal Masters.
there it is.
Yeah.
And a couple of the dual decks as well.
Yeah, so this was, Twisted Abomination was part of a cycle that was in a couple of those, I think. And it was nope, can't remember any of them. But there was one in each color that did the basic color cycling for that color.
Yeah.
A foil in here with our commons, Titanic Bullvox.
Okay.
6 green for a 7/4 beast with trample
Okay.
with morph.
Oh, damn.
But its morph cost is 4 green. So it's 8 mana to hard cast, or you can pay 3 and play it face down as a 2/2, and then flip it up for 7. But what a surprise!
Yeah,
right?
I mean, like-
I attack with my 2/2 colorless creature. Okay, sure. Pay all my mana. Surprise! It's a 7/4 with trample.
Yeah, I suppose block with my 2/2 then.
Even if
trade.
it's like block with my 3/3, yeah. Even if it's like I attack with this and they're like block with a 3/3 and you trample.
I
and
mean,
you
this
morph
is-
it, it's pretty bad, but
I feel like for a morph cost of 7, I want this to have 5 toughness.
yeah. I mean, it's a common.
It's
so
super expensive, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's it's
It's just
hard
a
to argue with a
big,
seven
beefy common
power
dude.
trample.
It's a very good surprise. Well, it's a bad surprise, but
Even Liberator is 2 white for a 2/3 bird soldier with flying, and it also has morph, and the flip up cost is 3 and a white. So the
Oh,
same
that's much better.
Same converted mana cost, but easier on the mana symbols. Plus, when Even Liberator is turned face up, Target creature you control gains protection from the color of your
Oh,
choice
what a
until end
good
of turn.
card.
Yeah, that's much better.
That's
that
a
a lot.
really good card.
I like the surprise because you can protect itself. You can protect you can protect another creature. That
Yeah.
seems really handy. Wood Cloaker. Now I'm familiar with Stone Cloaker, but Wood Cloaker is 5 and a green for a 3/3 elf. Very weird looking elf. It also has morph, and when the morph cost is 2 green. So you can play it on 3 as the 2/2 face down. You can flip it up the next turn. And when it's turn face up, target creature gains trample until end of turn. So not a hugely exciting
Not really.
effect, but
I mean, it could just get that last little bit of damage in.
if you have nothing else to do on turns 3 and 4, you can play your 2/2 and then get a 3/3 with trample for 1 turn. Why not?
I mean, I'm hard in on that Aven Liberator. What a good card.
What a terrific art on this next card. Recuperate. 3 and a white for an instant. Choose one. Okay, this is not a good card. Choose one. You gain 6 life.
Nope.
No.
Or prevent the next 6 damage that would be dealt to target creature this turn.
Nope.
No.
4 mana for that.
Nope.
No.
But man, look at this beefy.
Oh, it looks like a Boris Vallejo album cover.
It does. It's
Yeah, no, I'm
Tim
good.
Hildebrand art, which
Oh.
makes a lot of sense.
Well, it looks sweet. It looks like I should be seeing like Necropotence or something like that, like as like Magic card band name
yeah.
thing.
Goblin War Strike is next. It's a single red mana for a sorcery. Deals damage equal to the number of goblins you control to target player.
Oh, this is definitely in some Highlander decks, I'm sure.
Surely, right?
How much is it?
1 mana,
Oh, this has got to be in some Gobbo decks.
Yeah.
right?
I assume so.
I assume so. Maybe there's a reason it's just not
I mean,
good, but
it's sorcery, which is, I guess, makes it a little worse.
as
but-
always, Goblin flavor text is fantastic. Fire, aim, ready.
I love goblins. That's definitely a good card in a goblin deck. I feel like a lot of our red deck win kind of decks run goblins.
Yeah. Temporal Fissure is next. 4 and a blue for a sorcery. Return target permanent to its owner's hand with Storm.
Ooh.
So 5 mana, bounce a permanent, not a creature,
Yeah.
but with Storm.
Yeah.
Huh. I
So you
feel
would
like
really get somebody.
Is it
yeah.
instant or sorcery or?
sorcery,
All right.
but I feel like you could go nuts with this if you had the right setup.
You get a storm count of like 5 and just.
You need a lot of mana, but wow.
Yeah.
I mean, if some of the spells you're casting untap your lands.
Yeah.
Undead War Chief.
I've never seen this in like any storm decks, which leads me to believe it's too expensive.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
it probably is.
very few storm cards are actually played in storm decks.
Yeah, I suppose like the point of a storm deck is not necessarily to do it's just to build up a payload and dome
Yeah.
them.
Man, Undead War Chief, Zombie Lord,
Oh.
2 black for a 1/1 zombie. Well, that sounds like trash.
Uh-huh.
But zombie
Nice.
spells you play cost 1 colorless less. And zombies you control, not other zombies,
Yeah.
Oh.
zombies you control.
So it's a 3/2.
Get +2/+1. So this is a 3/2 for 4 that buffs all your other zombies and makes them cheaper.
Well,
Damn, what a good card.
Seems really good.
I'm in on this in zombies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His beefy arms have beefy arms.
Yeah,
beefy arms do have beefy
literally
arms.
his
It's
arm.
arms all the way down.
That's creepy.
Oh wow.
Oh,
Thunder.
he's got a face on his elbow.
Thundercloud Elemental. 5 blue for a 3/4 flying elemental. With 2 abilities. 3 and a blue, tap all creatures with toughness 2 or less.
Okay.
And 3 and a blue, all other creatures lose flying until end of turn.
That's kind of sweet.
So it's like an air elemental.
Yeah, it's pretty damn expensive. Is that the rare?
No.
No, that's not uncommon.
No, this is uncommon. We got
There's
one
some really good
more,
cards in this pack.
One more uncommon. Yeah, Scourge was not totally messing around.
Yeah. All right. And rare.
Wing Shards. 1 white for an instant.
Oh.
Target player sacrifices an attacking creature. Sure.
Okay, yeah.
Also has Storm.
All right.
So
I'm curious how, at least in limited, how Storm worked. If it was actually like a thing people would do.
yeah,
It probably wasn't, but maybe.
I'd like to see. Okay, here's my This is not like my dream play. This is like what I feel is like a reasonable but.
This is not magical Christmas land, it's merely magical Thanksgiving town.
Yeah, this is a better case scenario.
Okay.
You got like say 5 mana open, right? They attack with 3 creatures. You use a pump spell before blockers. Use a pump spell on one of your creatures, and then play Wing Shards. So they have to sacrifice 2 creatures, and then you have a buff creature to block their.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that seems
That doesn't seem crazy, right?
that's
that seems
doable.
attainable.
I
And
like,
it's,
I like magical Thanksgiving Town.
I mean, that's
Expectations are much lower, but
Exactly.
achievable. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like maybe that's not as good a metaphor for Americans because Thanksgiving is a big deal down there, like it's not here.
No.
Yeah.
Like it's still a holiday here, and we all like
But Canadian
feast.
Thanksgiving is not like quite the
But
craziness.
we do it earlier, and then it's.
And then,
out
like,
of the
if you
way,
don't
and
show up to Thanksgiving, your parents are like, "Oh, that's fine. I'll
Yeah.
see you at Christmas."
Yeah,
It's not like,
exactly.
"What do you mean you're not coming to Thanksgiving?"
Yeah, but Magical Arbor Dayville is like real lame.
Yeah. You
Oh no,
don't.
that's a worst case scenario. That's like
That's when you draw your second land
It's-
on
no,
turn
it's-
3.
yeah, it's where you draw your Torrent of Fire when you really need it. and really
it's
need
Arbor Day.
removal.
You just keep top decking forests.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right, and the rare is Nefashu.
Okay. I
Okay.
assume
How
a
do you spell
legendary-
that?
Legendary
It's
creature.
not a legendary creature.
What? That
Yeah.
sounds like a dude.
It's a creature. 4 black for
Okay.
a 5/3 zombie mutant. And
Okay.
boy, is he a mutant.
Does he also have beefy arms coming out of his beefy arms?
Kinda. He's got beefy arms coming out of the mass that is his body.
Hmm.
Nefashu. Nefashu. Whenever Nefashu attacks, holy crap, up to 5 target creatures each get -1/-1 until end of turn.
Whoa, that's cool.
What a good card!
So you can just absolutely destroy a token strategy, or just make combat really irritating.
That just makes blocks really hard.
This seems sweet in Commander because it's not even defending. It's not even creatures that defending player controls. You'd be like,
Yeah.
I attack you,
But you,
I kill 3 of your
you have
dudes.
it's like Jerry has a bunch of X1s, and and it's just like dead. Ooh, I like this.
I like
Yeah,
Nefashu a lot.
Wow, there's some really good cards in this pack.
Also, can I see that card?
Yeah,
What is
there's
going on with the
there's a
card?
lot going on.
That is-
He's got like one really big beefy arm that is capped, like there's no hand on it. But then he's got other smaller beefy arms with like knives and stuff
This is
coming out of
weird.
that beefy arm.
Also, I really feel like this should be a legendary creature.
Right?
Using
Like-
plane chase as well.
Cool.
Like yeah,
He's really good.
so many zombie mutants.
Yeah, let's see, what stands out here? Aven Liberator, just as I think might be the best common.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm taking that and
Yeah,
I'm
I'll-
hoping to wield the zombie.
I doubt the War Chief wheels, but you could probably wield the Twisted A-Bomb.
Yeah, I mean, I think the first pick is Nefashu, and then probably Undead Warrior goes next.
Yeah.
And then if both of those are gone, I'm going to take probably the Liberator, just because I think that's just a good value creature. That's exactly what I want from a morph. Is like I can get a bit more damage in, and I can save something. And it's not expensive.
What a neat pack. So thank you, Johnny Kefka and Thaumaturgist.
Yeah, Scourge. I'd never cracked a pack of Scourge before, but it looks like a really fun set.
Speaking of fun, this game that we play, that we enjoy so much.
I love this
I
game.
love this game. New ways to play it. have been
Yes.
announced. So we've talked before because there's been a lot of confusion, and it's partly Wizards' fault, but it's not that much Wizards' fault.
It's a little Wizard's fault, but
It's mostly people not
come
listening.
on, just listen.
So Magic Digital Next, which is the name of Wizards' strategy for future digital products, unveiled their first
product.
product.
I mean, technically, the MMO
That's
falls
true,
under
actually.
that as well.
That's true.
And
The
they announced
MMO is
that
part of-
before.
is
Yeah.
part of Magic
Yeah,
Digital Next.
think of Magic Digital Next not as a single thing, but a series of flow charts on somebody's wall.
Yeah.
Magic
Okay.
Digital,
Really is.
Digital Next is like Loading Ready Run,
Yeah.
where we have a bunch of stuff that we do
Under that umbrella. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Magic Digital Next is the umbrella.
But
anyways,
Magic Arena is what they showed off. They were like, we're announcing a thing called Magic Arena, and everyone's like, speculation. And they didn't say anything about what it actually was.
yeah.
And then they unveiled it yesterday at time of recording on a stream with Jimmy and Gabby and Amaz and some
And
Nate
Blake.
And Nate and
People
No,
from-
not Blake. Nate.
Nate and
I can't remember his name.
The lead,
like
the lead dude.
the head of development on the product.
yeah.
Yeah, don't remember his name.
And
Sorry.
Sorry,
so
man.
it's a new digital way to play Magic, and the big, the generally speaking, reactions seem very positive. Where people are sort of stuck is, well, is this a replacement for Duels? Is this the next Magic Duels, or is this the next Magic Online? And it's not either of those things. You need to.
At least not to start with.
You must
Yeah.
uncouple yourself. You must unlearn what you have learned.
Beige, Paul, and I had a very interesting discussion about this yesterday. So, basically, what we arrived at after some debate on this was the reason, like, The reason why this is not just the latest iteration of Duels is because, as opposed to Duels, which was sort of a mobile game thing, I mean, you could play Duels on the computer.
Yeah.
I think most people played it just on handheld devices.
Generally.
Duels was not a full Magic experience. It was like a 60 to 70% Magic experience where you couldn't have full control of the game. It tended to be a little slow depending on your mobile device. It certainly never ran well on my phone.
A lot of stuff was streamlined. It only included like maybe 60% of the cards in a given set because they were all programmed like individually, and so there was just a bunch of cards they just never added
because
you couldn't build decks the way that you normally build decks.
Yeah, it was so like, I'm not saying Duels was a bad product, but it was not a full Magic product. I think the reason why Magic Arena, even though it's sort of like, people are like, why isn't this like, this seems like the next step in the evolution of Duels. I think the reason they're not doing that is because I think if you call anything Duels, there's a certain subset of Magic players who have already written off Duels as not comprehensive enough for, they don't want Magic Methadone, they want pure Magic heroin, right? And they're not going to look at the product. So I think that's why they've made that name break there.
What Arena has that's different from Duels, that's better and a big change, is that it actually they're trying to do basically, they're trying to do what Duels did successfully, which was be accessible and potentially working on mobile and be more just visually pleasant and be quick and responsive like a current digital card game, but have actually all the rules of Magic, like Magic Online does. Like they said that they've built like the rule system from scratch. They're not using the Magic Online system that's been sort of like patchworked together for 15 years. This is like they've built it. Apparently they're using like machine learning as well to like interpret how some of the cards work. And they're going to have every card from standard sets, and you can build a standard deck. They want to have drafting when it happens.
And sealed.
But it looks much more like we're used to from modern digital card products like Eternal or Hearthstone, which is good. People were like, "Oh, this looks like Hearthstone." It's like, that's what we want. What do you? Is this a complaint?
Yeah. Well, I think there is a line of thought that's like, well, I mean, but why didn't they do something more unique with it? And like, why take it in the direction that so many other digital card games have gone?
Because they're going in a smart direction.
Well, because one, the market has shown that is what the majority of people want from their digital card games. They want them to look like, people like, I'm sure you'll be able to turn off the animations and like the sound effects if that's not your jam, and I'm sure a lot of people are like, meh. But I think like the market, players in general, not you specifically if that's not your thing, want colorful and engaging things with like fun animations and floating cards if they fly and like that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
They want something that's more visually dynamic. And also you have to remember that Magic, because Hearthstone and all these other card games have been out and in development for many years, is having to rapidly play catch up. And the easiest way to catch up to get a new Magic product to the point where it's like on par with these other games is to be like, what do these other games do? That's what we're going to do. Yeah. They're just bringing it up, and like maybe in 5 years from now, maybe Magic Arena won't look as similar to these other card games. They might go in their own more unique direction, but I don't think they have time for that. I think they just want to get a product, get it out, and build it to the general specifications of what people are looking for in this market.
So it's in what they're calling pre-alpha right
And it looks
now.
great for pre-alpha.
Yeah, and they're wanting to solicit a lot of community feedback. They stressed that multiple times in the stream. If you haven't watched the stream, you should go back and check it out.
Absolutely.
Because it's really interesting. There's a couple things that I'm not a big fan of, and I can get to those in a second, but things that I do really like. I like the visuals. I like how they've dealt with the cards. When I was imagining myself some time ago how I would modernize, Magic Online or Duels or whatever, the visuals is exactly what I thought of, which is that on the battlefield, the text box is gone. It's just the art, and in case of creatures, it's the power and toughness,
and any relevant abilities.
Yeah, and they have like for common keywords, they have like a little sort of
symbol and
little iconography, like Duels did. Bless you. But then when you mouse over them, then it pops up and you see the whole card. And I know that some people don't like that, but vertical space is a huge problem for card games because of how cards are shaped, and this is how everyone else is doing it, and this is how Magic should be doing it. There was some people in the chat we were talking to yesterday. They were annoyed that the artist credit isn't on the thing.
Right.
And it's like, okay, that's fair because Magic's usually really good about doing that, but no other digital game credits every single artist on every single thing because that's space that you don't need. And assuredly there'll be like a credits thing with like, here's all the artists, right? And where Magic Online stumbles as a digital product is trying too much to replicate the visuals of Magic the Gathering, the paper card game. And what Wizards should be doing and what they are doing with Magic Arena and what we should want them to be doing is treating it like a digital product first, which is so important, and I'm really, really excited about that. The closed beta is going to be on PC only, but they've said they've made the game in Unity, which is really important because Unity,
that means it runs on everything.
Yes, so potentially they have not promised anything. They have not promised any platforms, but they did make a big point about how it was built in Unity.
Yeah.
Because that means that it could, with little difficulty, in the broad realm of porting things, it could come to Mac or iOS or Android.
I'll just
probably
say
Mac slowed down that priority
it
list.
has to.
Yeah.
It can't not come to those clients, right?
Well, Mac obviously isn't as big a deal, but
iOS.
But iOS and Android.
And the way it's designed, it's clearly designed with the mobile client.
And
in
I
mind.
get that at this stage that they can't say and they can't promise. Of course, this is coming to Mac and to iOS and Android, but of course it is because it has to.
Yeah.
Because that's
That
how
would
people
be
play
such
games
a
nowadays.
tremendous misstep, which I guess we shouldn't put it past them. But good lord, come on.
I like that. I love how responsive it is.
It looks really good. Yeah.
Quick and snappy it is. I like that they're going to be able to have standard on there. I like that they said by the time they launch the full game, they want to have draft on there. Being able to draft on like a mobile device, on a trip or something, and with that interface, I'm
also being
so
able
on
to
board with it.
transition from like I sit down in the office and I have 15 minutes before I need to leave, so I draft, and then I get home and I can sit down on my PC and play the games.
Yeah.
Which would be fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, that all needs to very much happen.
And I know that some people are like, well, but what about Modern? But what about this format? But what about Commander? And it's like, well, I mean, let them get standard and draft out there and see what happens. Because they've said repeatedly, like, this is not replacing Magic Online.
Yes.
But that means it's not replacing Magic Online now.
Yeah, and I wish that they could say that. I mean, again, it's similar to the platform thing.
as a long-term strategy, obviously,
they want to.
Having two different clients doesn't make any sense.
Correct.
But on the other hand, you're talking about how they rebuilt the engine for the card thing because the Magic Online one is all sort of patchwork and stuff. To be honest, like the large reason why the Magic Online client is the engine is kind of patchwork is because of the 30,000 Magic cards, right? And having to deal with how some random card interacts with a current card. So having that a little bit more, not having those cards in it certainly simplifies things, at least for the moment.
Yeah, and also that means that Magic Online will continue to see set releases and updates as they have been going forward.
They can't. They have to. They can't sunset Magic Online, which I'm sure they will. When they.
Yeah, to be clear, we have no insider information on this. I know that we do a lot of work with Wizards. This is pure speculation on our part. I would assume that once Arena gets to, once it's out fully and gets to a point where the install base works, that it would take over from Magic Online. And when and if that happens, I would hope that they would have some sort of migration tool for people's collections.
Yes, you would need to.
Yeah, obviously there's all sorts of questions about how that would, because the economy is totally different.
But then you get into a situation where, but what about all those cards that are on Magic Online that aren't in Magic Arena? And so, that's several years away.
I was about to say, my speculation is this is at least, because it's going into closed beta.
Yeah.
And it's not like one of those, like, you know, like when you did the Destiny beta and it was like, I mean, like, you're playing something that's like several months old and we'll take some feedback into account, but like realistically, we've worked through most of these issues. This is more for hype. They were very clear in the stream that's like, we want player feedback on how this works. We want player feedback on how this works. This is not one of those betas where you do a beta and then the game's out a month later.
Yeah.
Like, this is going to be probably a longer beta, the development cycle. So I would say it's going to be like at least probably 3 years in the future before they even start talking about like transitioning everything that's and like the thing is it'll probably go in phases too. It'll be like, hey, Magic Arena's been out for like a year now and like Standard's doing really well, and hey, look, we're adding like it's now all of Modern is in Magic Arena or something like that, or like
And even that
setbacks
is-
to
I mean,
Innistrad
and-
or
yeah.
something.
And I mean, they have talked about that it's not, or at least I guess they haven't talked about it, but they haven't said anything about things sort of cycling, right?
Yeah.
So presumably, it's just like the card pool in it is going to kind of continually.
Yeah. Well,
Get bigger.
there was a theory floated online that while they'll continue adding sets to Magic Arena and maintain standard one-to-one with paper, that it could get to a point that if they don't add sets backwards, that then there could be sort of an eternal format, kind of like Frontier,
Yeah.
I guess, starting at Ixalan,
Right.
that exists just in Magic Arena. That's just
Well, presumably-
that's just every card available in Arena.
Well, presumably it would start before Ixalan, because if they're looking to get standard,
That's true.
When
That's-
they launch,
Right.
So-
standard will be at least
Kaladesh.
You're right. Kaladesh,
Kaladesh
Aether Revolt,
and
Amonkhet, Hour of
Hour of
Devastation.
Devastation.
I mean, but that's cool.
would be my assumption. And I saw like people were like, well, one way that they can start introducing old cards to start moving your way back through the thing is, you know, you start introducing flashback drafts.
Yeah.
So like, you know, even just as recently as Innistrad, right? Like
Oh,
you do Shadows
so
over
cool.
Innistrad, or
I mean,
you-
even
you-
even Mitgo has
Flashback drafts.
well, has the like vintage or has like the Masters series, right?
Yeah.
Like they never actually released whatever alpha and beta
Yeah.
in Mitgo.
Yeah.
They released it in. They released some of the cards
Eternal
in a
Masters,
different format.
Yeah, exactly. But going back and adding those sets like that is a nice way to slowly get those card pools up to incorporate
Yeah.
something like Modern or
Yeah, like going forward, like, you know, bottom line, like way in the future, I can't see them like permanently having a situation where it's like, if you want to play with older cards,
You have to
use the
go-
old client,
yeah, use this old
and use the
clients.
new client to
Yeah.
play
Yeah.
with new cards.
No, I
like
mean-
that would be dumb.
Yeah, and I understand that, you know, they're in that position where it's tricky to do so. but-
So, hypothetically, right? How would you feel if, hypothetically, they aren't interested in a Magic Arena economy, right? Like ignore how much this would suck for people who like have collection equity in Magic Online.
Right.
What about like just looking at Magic Arena? Like there's no bots.
there's
you don't.
no secondary market.
Yeah, like
So no trading.
yeah, presumably there would be something akin to Hearthstone's Dust system where like you could shard your draft trash and get
Yeah.
some amount of points back that would get you some way into buying into another draft. But on the face of it, a draft is like $4.
Yeah.
Or
And there's
less.
but
I mean,
but
yeah.
the idea being that there's no player to player
Yeah.
Trading, yeah.
So there's no secondary market. It's all between you and the game.
But it doesn't cost, like Magic Online does, literally $14, $15 to do a draft, just
Right.
like it does in
I
paper.
mean, and that's something they didn't talk about yesterday at all, which
No.
was how like ignoring the secondary market, ignoring that, how does one actually collect cards in this game? Do you?
I mean, since the game is free to play, it's not that hard to
I mean, so is
to
Magic,
guess that
technically.
there would be like
Sure.
that you buy boosters.
there would be basically the system that every single other online card game uses, with you get gold for doing or there's like
things and you buy
dailies and
packs,
whatever, and
which
then
is
you use that
interesting
for
because
gold,
that
and then there's
because
microtransactions and
Magic
blah, blah,
is
blah.
at its core, and this is something that came up yesterday. There is a difference between a CCG and a TCG.
Yeah.
And at its core, Magic has always been a TCG. It is a tradable card game.
Yeah.
Whereas with the introduction of Arena, are they going to be making that shift fully into a CCG, or are they going to embrace CCG to a point but still allow aspects of that TCG game that has existed
The
for
C
25
stands
years?
for collectible.
Yeah, the C is collectible, which is so there isn't that interaction. I would kind of hate to see that go,
Yeah,
personally. I would like to see them try to sort of marry the two together, that there is a way to play and experience Arena as a CCG by yourself. You play games, you earn in-game currency, you buy more packs, you enter drafts, you get packs that way, but there's also the ability to trade with your friends and trade with others, whether or not you want to get into like a whole, like I'm sure that they would love to never have to deal with bots again, right? Like that is, there cannot be bots in Arena. There needs to be a marketplace, like an auction house or something like that.
That would be sweet.
Right.
If you can take your draft picks, throw them up in the auction house, then people who care about Standard can pay their in-game gold or whatever to get to buy like that. I think that would be sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's up?
Here's my read on the situation. One, over its 25-year history, Magic has actually been remarkably despite the fact that they don't officially acknowledge the secondary market, Magic has always made business decisions that sort of acknowledge that it's a trading card game and that some cards have immense value.
Yes.
And and sort of respect when they're designing that even though they're not go down and buy singles from Card Kingdom, that is exactly what people do to put together commander decks and all the different kind of formats where you need specific cards that are very hard to get.
Yep.
You could, I'm looking for a play set of, river hoopus. Most people aren't going to go and open 40 packs until they get them.
No.
So I think that I just can't see a world in which Magic backs away from this. I think there'd be a huge backlash from the player base. And I think it would be well justified because, it's just, you can get cards the same way people get them in Hearthstone and build the equivalent of a Hearthstone standard deck, but it's not what Magic players are accustomed to, and it's not what we expect. We expect that there is some way to pick something out that is very good to draft and is valuable but not to us, and then turn it into something that is valuable to us, in a more direct way. So I can't see them not honoring that because they've made a lot of business decisions in the past with an eye to that's how people play Magic.
Yeah, and I mean Magic.
And if they're thinking about it, and I hope that if they are, I hope somebody listens to me and realizes that this will make a lot of people upset. Not because it's necessarily a bad idea, but it's like breaking a contract you've had with your players for 25 years.
But I would love, the thing is the
concept of dusting or whatever and redoing it accomplishes the same goal as the secondary market, but without the player-to-player interaction.
That's the thing. So, I would love to see. The thing is, this would be bad for people who have massive equity in Magic Online. But I would love to see some sort of secondary economy within Magic Arena, like James said, with a centralized auction house system.
Yeah.
So you don't have to deal with bot chains. It's just these are cards I don't care about. Either put them up like an auction house, or literally just trade them back to a central trade hub. Get your in-game currency. But what I would like is for that to be just lower stakes than Magic Online is now. And I think this would be greatly to Magic's benefit to have a draft not cost $15 real world dollars.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
If you can draft for $2, but then if you open some crazy mythic that everyone wants for standard, you can sell it for 80 cents. That's most of not most of the way, but that's that's a big chunk of the way back to another draft, right? That would, I think having a similar economy just at a smaller scale would greatly benefit. I mean, everybody. It'd be cheaper for us. Wizards would get more. I feel that they would get more money because it would be accessible to more people.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm not saying that. When I'm saying don't
also, no
screw
one's going to
this up.
drop $15 on a microtransaction.
No,
that's not true. People do that, but I mean, more
the majority of people.
More people will be I'll do.
Yeah, I'm not saying port the entire economy of Magic Online over those weird bot chains and stuff. No, absolutely simplify it and make it easier, but still give people the control over their collections that they have now. There's a way to do that, I think.
As a much smarter person than I would have to try to figure this out. But the issue that Magic, unlike any other card game, has sort of found itself in is with Arena. Now there are these 3 very different ways to experience and play Magic. You have paper Magic, which is still obviously an incredibly key part of the business. It's still what probably makes them the most amount of money. Then you have Magic Online, which tries to mimic paper Magic, but it does weird things in weird different ways that Paper doesn't quite do, and it's a little bit weird to get used to. And now you have Arena, which I assume is trying to simplify the whole thing, but you still have Magic Online and Paper Magic to deal with. So now you have 3 really vastly different ways to experience and play the game, but more importantly, collect the cards, right?
Yeah.
Like there's just so many different ways that you can now enjoy and collect cards in Magic the Gathering, whether that be online or in Paper and Arena, that you have to believe that they wanted to bring them all together, right? You want to believe that at some point they want...
And, I mean, one of the things they did talk about with Arena was having tie-ins with real-world stuff.
Which is so important.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, obviously the holy grail for that would be like,
buy a pack.
you know, a QR code in
Yeah.
the pack that gives you everything that's in that pack.
Which
whether
on
they
Arena.
whether they do that or not is probably unlikely.
I feel like that's less likely, but some thoughts.
But they have talked about doing like at like pre-releases or special events, like giving people out a code that gives them a card. And
Yeah, and that can go in both directions because, like, some people have thought of the idea of if you go to your pre-release, you get some sort of card to use in Magic Arena.
Yeah.
Or the reverse, which they used to do for duels, which is like if you do a thing in duels, then you get like a code and you can go down to your LGS and get a card.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I think like...
Or
I
even
mean,
just get
so-
in-game currency they didn't do.
Yeah, and like packs of like, I mean, Pokemon does this, right? Where if you buy a pack of Pokemon, you get the cards that are in the pack. What I would love, I don't necessarily expect that, but what I would love is if every pack of Magic the Gathering, there is just a redeemable code for some in-game currency, right? Like if you buy a pack of Magic cards, you get 100 Arena points, and I don't know what the ratio is. I don't know how much it
Yeah.
costs to join a draft, but if I spend $4 in the real world, it's nice to know that I get maybe 10% of the way to a draft or a
Put it
certain
on those
card that I
stupid
need.
ad cards.
Yeah, well, exactly, right? And that's great advertising for Arena, too.
Exactly.
It's if in every single pack.
Just jump in.
I just want to
Stop raising your hand.
very
It's
good.
weird.
Well, I don't want to cut people off, but I have a very good marketing idea, and I think that Wizards do this when you have Magic Arena up and running, and people go to a pre-release. I'm deadly serious. Give them their seal when they get their sealed pool, right? Give them a code in their sealed pool to do a free sealed on Magic Arena. Give them that first hit, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah.
Because when the set comes out,
They didn't
you want to
mention-
do more sealed. Like you
didn't-
want to play with the cards more and build it. It's
They didn't
perfect.
mention sealed, but they probably will.
I think they
No,
mentioned
they
sealed.
mentioned sealed.
They did? Oh,
Yeah,
I
they
missed
mentioned
that.
sealed.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I
So,
know they
like-
said they wanted to launch with standard and draft, so I wasn't sure if they.
Yeah.
Like, how good would that be? It's like, I opened up my sealed pool and I thought my deck was sweet, but it didn't do that well because I didn't know how the cards worked, or my sealed pool was bad. But I can go do another sealed for free on Magic Arena.
Yeah.
That's how you get people.
Yeah.
That's your free marketing idea from me, right? Give
One
them
thing
enough to
that,
play.
One thing that I am interested in, like in terms of bringing out to other platforms. You know, we talked about iOS and stuff. The other thing would be, of course, consoles,
Yep.
which have their own UI stuff. Is Hearthstone on consoles?
No.
But because I was thinking, like, if you were a big duels fan and were pretty bummed out that they were like, we're not doing duels anymore, I feel like you should actually be pretty happy at this point. That, like, I feel like obviously it's going to be a while until it comes out.
Yeah.
But if you want to, like, I feel like this arena will, if you want to, could be played basically like duels.
Yeah.
Like if you keep
Oh,
it
yeah.
all in its sort of auto form.
Yep.
That was one of my-
It basically looks and feels like duels.
Well, it's like a better duels,
but
right?
with better
Yeah.
deck construction.
That was one of my favorite things about it, is that it does have two sort of control modes. One that sort of is basically like F8 in Magic Online, like or like duels, where it sort of does a lot of shortcutting for you, where it's like.
And I mean, duels you can change it so you do make more of those decisions.
Yeah.
Well, but in duels you have to you have like a certain amount of time to respond, and you have to jump in and be like pause, and
Right.
then do the and it's actually super irritating.
Yeah, I never liked it.
So in Arena they have this like sort of streamlined kind of auto thing where the game's like, oh, you can't do anything about this, so I'm not even going to ask you. Or you can assume direct control and do it like Magic Online, where you are allowing every ability to resolve. You're like going through the stack. You're responding to stuff. And that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's great. I really like that. I like that it is all the rules, but that you can also sort of run it on like more simple mode.
I can imagine that they may even have something like the sort of stops thing from Magic Online, where it's not all or nothing. Because obviously, having to manually go through every single
Allow
step
everything.
if you only want to do one thing at one point is kind of annoying.
That would be good, yeah.
But-
But,
I mean,
but
when
who
they were
knows?
on the stream, they were showing
Although
that.
you can swap modes pretty
Yeah,
quick.
yeah. Gabby was toggling it on and off because she had it on auto, and then she was like, "Wait, I have a flash creature I want to cast him," so she turned it on to full control so she could respond when he went to his attacks.
Yep.
Because I liked how quickly and like simple that was, where it's like because Magic Online you have to be like, nah.
So there's going to be something there though, because even on Magic Online, you can kind of tell when your opponent's F6'd by how quickly they respond to stuff.
Yeah.
And then if they suddenly aren't, you're like, oh, they might have something, and this will be way more obvious that if your opponent's just playing on auto mode and then suddenly they're pausing at every stop, you're like, they have a counterspell. So they'll have to sort of smooth that around. A couple things that I would like to see improved, because again, they're on pre-alpha, so consider this feedback. The way that tapped permanents are represented is not great.
No.
They said that they struggled with this a lot, and they totally understand it. That apparently turning stuff the full 90 degrees looked really strange, because now they're mostly square.
Oh yeah.
Right? And so what they've
Because
done...
it doesn't look different.
Yeah, so what they've done, and doing it a full 45 made everything diamond-shaped and take up too much space. So what they've got now is that a tapped permanent turns like 10 degrees to the
15
side,
maybe?
15 degrees, grays out, and has the tap symbol overlaid on it. Which is fine, but I feel like, and I don't think they need me to tell them this, I think they're going to be playing around with that to try and maybe find something a little bit better.
To me, the thing that it evoked was people who do the partial taps in
which
paper
is
Magic,
maddening.
which is not only
That's BM.
bad to you, bad sort of to see, but it's actually it actually can cause problems in the game because you don't know what's tapped and what's not.
Because we were hosting the stream, someone in our chat referred to it as the surge tap, because
Yeah.
surge does the 45.
But so evoking that in the online thing has to me has bad connotations.
Speaking of things,
It's like if you could make you play lands in front of spells.
speaking of angles, I'm not 100% on the duels battlefield at a 45-degree angle kind of thing. It's not quite 45, but it doesn't have to be complete straight top down like Hearthstone. Like Eternal has a slight angle, but it's not huge.
Right.
It feels like a little too much of an angle on the battlefield right now that your opponent's permanents are they're so far away.
Honestly,
And they're a little hard to
giving
parse.
people control of that would be kind of cool.
Now, in duels, you
actually-
could. In duels, you could do it from you could do it on the angle, or you could move it to straight top down.
Yeah.
Which is what I always
But
said it
the
to.
straight top down in duels, for some reason, always looked a little strange because it was, I don't know why.
Well,
was
I mean, it
sort
also
of off.
it takes away from, I think, some of those. Certainly takes away from some of the animations and and just sort of the look and feel of the game.
I
which
did
understand,
something I did like is that they, again, like Hearthstone, like Eternal, had the battlefield was a setting. Like the battlefield they showed off was on Ixalan. Right?
Yes.
I liked that. I also liked how there wasn't a bunch of shit lying around. It was like, this is clearly a place, and it's all way off to the side. It's not and here's a statue, and here's a fireplace. It's
To me, I would like
clear
to
the
see
deck.
even more clearing the deck. To be I liked duels because duels was basically just it looked like it's sort of a table or something.
Yeah.
It would,
It was a
but
very,
there
very
was
fancy table.
But there's no crap around the outside.
Yeah.
That always bugs me in online games. Because actually, I mean, the funny thing is actually what I talked about this actually when we were playing on the.
You were playing the Legend or the Elder
Scrolls game.
Yeah.
What they're actually doing is because they're games that are meant for tablets, which are often 4x3.
Right.
What they're doing is they're basically turning your game into a 4x3 game, but pretending they're not by putting a bunch of crap around the outside.
Yeah.
But to me, that because it's like, oh, it's a thing, but it's what are you trying? Are we playing this in we're like playing this in a clearing with ginormous cards.
Well, I mean, like,
what is this trying to emulate?
Well, the thing is, when from a plot point of view, you are not playing a game of Magic. You are, in fact, a powerful planeswalker, and you are slinging spells and summoning creatures, and you are actually doing battle with somebody on this plane.
Yeah, I get that.
So it's like trying to evoke the feeling of
because
Magic.
Hearthstone was the first one to really popularize that idea.
Right.
Because
like in Hearthstone,
lore-wise, you're actually playing this in a pub.
See, that
in the World of Warcraft.
And that kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is I don't know. It just feels kind of weird.
Yeah, I agree.
It feels weirdly unnecessary. I guess
Arena, I felt, did a better job of using that vertical and horizontal space a lot better than a lot of games did. So.
Yeah, and of course the animations and sound effects and stuff. Presumably, some amount of that will be able to be either turned off or sped up or whatever.
Yeah, if you're not a big fan of that kind of stuff. So.
Can I jump in with something that I thought was really exciting when they mentioned how because I mean, we keep doing comparisons to Hearthstone. I don't play a lot of like digital card games, but like Hearthstone's very well known. But like MTGO currently, you have like your 25 minutes, which is how much you have to play the game.
Yeah.
And Hearthstone, it's like the line that ticks down, right?
Yeah, you have.
And they talked about maybe changing how the timer works, and they're looking for community feedback, so I don't have anything firm to say. But I'm really excited about this because one of like the biggest feels bad man to me is when you're playing MTGO, and just because you got into a really tanky game, the complicated board stuff is happening, and you're going to lose the clock even though you are ahead in the game. And like obviously you have to put a timer on games, but there's no way to sort of recoup time for complicated turns. They said they would like try to look at like doing it so like you don't take a lot of your time when you're just like, yes, go, right? And then when you really have to go into the tank and make a decision, and it takes you like 30, 40 seconds to actually like do the math on how they might block.
Yep.
That you're not,
rushed
and risking yourself losing the game.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Because like that's just a feels bad man for like
I mean, that's actually just how tournaments work, right?
I know it's how tournaments work as well, but like it just. I mean, maybe it's worse on MTGO because it's not as an intuitive. Like I've never found MTGO particularly intuitive to use.
Yeah.
So like
yeah,
that
I
makes
mean, there's
me
always
even
you
slower.
you have to fight against the interface to some extent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Arena. I'm stoked for it. When's the closed beta open?
I don't think they said.
Okay.
The sign up is now.
The sign up is now. The idea is that the closed beta
website was it Magic Arena?
Yeah. We put it in the description.
I would assume.
The idea is to start the beta with the pool of Ixalan cards.
So I don't think that beta is starting until after Ixalan comes out.
Presumably, shortly after Ixalan comes out. I'd be curious to see if they had planned this far enough in ahead that we're going to start seeing ad cards in booster packs for Ixalan.
Almost certainly.
I would assume so. So my guess would probably be, I would hope that we would see people starting getting into the closed beta in October. Like that would be ideal. And for timeline wise, they want this game out as soon as possible, right? They're already years behind the competition, so getting this out to as many people as fast as possible seems like it's in their best interest.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
I'm really excited.
I'm excited. I'm going to sign up for the closed beta, even though I don't really have a way to play it.
Did they say you could stream the beta?
No, they said you could not stream the beta.
I'm pretty sure we can't.
Gabby asked. She was like, "Can we stream it?" And they're like, "We'll let you know."
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure that we won't be able to.
That's fair.
Presumably, I mean, we're in a position of privilege, so I'm guessing we'll probably be one of the first to be able to stream it.
Hopefully,
but not right away. So.
No. I'm sure I'm sure they will let people know when they can stream the beta.
Yeah.
Speaking of Ixalan, we were going to talk about a bunch of spoilers, but we talked about Magic Arena for a real long time, which is great. But
we have a lot of thoughts.
Let's at least really quickly talk about the card that we mentioned at the beginning when we were broadcasting from.
Sure.
So, because this was revealed in the Magic Arena stream, and it's pretty dope. So, it's called Growing Rights of Itlamok, and it's 2 and a green for a legendary enchantment. When Growing Rights of Itlamok enters the battlefield, look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order.
As a side note, as you can see because that's just the screenshot from the
game.
Yeah.
Different font on the text.
Yes, more legible body copy.
Yes.
Well,
which is a good idea.
Yeah, the sans serif.
Yeah.
It looks better like on computer screens, I think.
Yeah.
So 3 mana, legendary enchantment. Look at the top 4 cards. Draw a creature. All right. Yeah. Sure.
I mean, that's
fine. Isn't that similar to like Oath of Nissa?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's a perfectly functional like dig for some creatures spell.
Yeah.
At the beginning of your end step, so you don't get to do this the turn you play it, if you control 4 or more creatures, transform Growing Rites of Itlamok.
I mean, you
Well,
might
you
control
get-
4 or more creatures
you
when
do.
you play it.
Yeah,
Right.
you do get it on the turn you play it.
No, but it doesn't trigger till your end step.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't get to use the other side of the card
Oh,
No.
yeah.
But
Sorry.
you can transform it right away if you already have a bunch of creatures out, or if you.
at the end of your turn.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. And it turns into. It turns into.
Itlamok,
Thank you.
Cradle of the Sun.
Thank you. And the cradle, being a callback to Gaia's cradle, because this has an ability to tap to add a green to your mana pool, or literally Gaia's cradle, tap
Yeah.
to add green to your mana pool for each creature you control.
This
Yeah.
is going in so many commander decks.
So,
Yeah.
So I guess
Oh.
if you got an instant that likes lots of green mana,
Ooh.
you could do that
Court of Calling.
right away.
Yeah.
Yep.
There you go.
So
Because
Or
it doesn't
just
come in
cast-
tapped.
Or just
So-
cast big stuff.
On this side of the card is also strictly better than Gaia's Cradle.
Yeah.
Because if you don't control any creatures, Gaia's Cradle doesn't tap for
mana.
anything.
Yeah.
Whereas this actually does.
and Gaia's Cradle is a reserveless card, correct?
I think so. So does it?
Can you double check that for me, Paul? I think it is.
So
which brings
does-
up some interesting questions.
Does
Not really. I mean, they do functional reprints of reserve cards.
yeah?
And this isn't even a functional.
Does this mean that
Yeah,
this
this is an improved reprint.
Does this? Well, that's the thing. Is this strictly better? No,
No,
you
because
can't
you
just
need
play
to
it as a land.
no,
and
you
you
need to
gotta
flip it,
and
yeah.
trigger it and all that stuff. But
I mean,
it's sweet.
It gets into like I at least what I've read, people are like it automatically gets into Modern Elves. It is
yeah.
so easy to trigger in Commander.
Yeah.
And this card is going to be a Commander's table for sure.
This card is bonkers. If you open
I'm-
one, it's going to be worth money.
I'm gonna play this in limited because
'Cause
why
it's-
wouldn't you not? And I don't know if it'll see any standard play. That's not my area of expertise, but I gotta believe that it's gonna be there because it just seems really good.
I also love that the front side is a barren, rocky, sandy desert with a tree, and they're doing this. They're performing the growing rites, and then that's on the back. That same tree is now taller, and there's vegetation everywhere.
Yeah.
and like a beast coming out of it.
Yeah, there's dinosaurs like way in the back, on the front side, and then there are just dinosaurs everywhere hanging around.
I also just absolutely love the design on these cards.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, on like the treasure places.
Yeah, well, just like and just how the back of these cards look, like they just look
You
fantastic.
see how the
like,
set expansion symbol is at the top?
as at the top in the
Yeah.
middle there. Yeah, no, I think this
really
is
cool.
unbelievably well done and
Yeah,
super.
it is on the reserve.
Yeah, so a lot of people were like, so what, like to see them start doing this kind of thing, what would a card need to look like for dual lands to be on the back, right? Is what people
Right.
were asking.
Yeah.
Because you're never going to see dual lands reprinted.
No.
Not at like their base. Like
Yeah.
you're never going to see a land reprinted that just
But-
comes down untapped and taps
I mean,
for 2 lands.
I see this as the same thing as like how they've quote unquote reprinted like, Black Lotus a ton of times, trying to sort of get it.
Yeah, but I'm
working
not saying
properly.
get it right. I'm saying just have it basic. Like this is just when it's flipped.
This
This
is
is
Gaia's Cradle.
strictly better than Gaia's Cradle. So what does the front of the card need to be to make a flipped, straight up volcanic island fair?
But the thing is, what makes Volcanic Island relevant is that you can
Is the,
search.
Is
Yeah.
is the speed that it comes out too.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it comes in untapped, but you can also
You can also search for it, which
search
is
for an island or a mountain and get Volcanic Island, but
Yeah.
you can't search for the back of a double
no,
face card.
yeah.
And to me, saying like when it's flipped, it's strictly better than that. It's like
Well, yeah,
okay,
that's-
it's like saying Lion's Eye Diamond. Once you discard your hand,
Yeah,
is just the
No,
Black
yeah,
Lotus.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
the front back flip thing is a big deal.
Yeah.
Like, that is a
Hugely.
big.
It's a big conditional
That does make it
thing
worse.
that has to happen. Hey, do you want to talk about the one you're looking at your hand real quick before we go?
Sure. Why
Yeah.
not? Primal Amulet is another one of these transform cards. It's a 4-mana artifact. Instant and sorcery spells you cast cost 1 colorless less, or one generic mana less. Very nice.
Very nice.
Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, put a charge counter on it. Then if there are 4 or more charge counters on it, you may remove those counters and transform it. And if you do, it turns into Primal Wellspring. which is another land. Tap to add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. When that mana is spent to cast an instant or sorcery spell, copy that spell. You may choose new targets for the copy.
All of these cards
Sorry,
are
I'm trying to find
flipped
that
into
one.
lands, right?
Yeah.
Primal.
Primal Amulet.
It's a green one. I
No,
think?
it's an artifact.
It's artifact.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, all the,
It's pretty cool.
They all turn into
Lands.
lands because the idea is because it's the pirates, and so the idea is
Yeah.
that you're finding the
Finding where this.
finding where the treasures are,
Yeah.
basically. Yeah.
No, it's cool. I like it.
Yeah. And then
Good
Primal War
art.
Spring is it's gorgeous.
Is John Avon
Yeah.
the artist on both sides?
I assume
Yes.
so.
As a side note, this is an excellent sort of compromise between the Amonkhet, going way too far on
the
the
design,
making
yeah.
design fancy.
Yep.
So it's fancy, but it's legible, and it should be good.
Actually, I guess one more. Let's talk about another functional reprint. Maze of Ish.
Maze-ish?
Yeah, it's Maze of Ish. Little preview of the nickname podcast there. Thematic Compass. It's another artifact. It's a 2-mana artifact. For 3 and tap, search your library for a basic land, reveal it, put it into your hand, and shuffle your library. So repeatable land, basic land tutoring.
Well, that's very good.
At the beginning of your end step, if you control 7 or more lands, transform the compass
Yeah.
into Spires of Orazka, which taps to add 1 colorless to your mana pool, or tap to untap target attacking creature an opponent controls and remove it from combat.
Oh yeah, that is Maze of Ith.
Yeah.
With the exception being that you
2
can only,
exceptions.
Yeah. Well, you can tap for mana, which is
Maze
huge.
can't do.
And but this can't untap any creature, just
Attacking
creatures that your opponent controls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's obviously sort of your use case may vary, but no, this thing's sweet too.
I mean,
all these things really
Maze
sweet.
of Ith is really busted.
Yeah.
This taps for mana, but Maze of Ith is just like
Sorry,
your best creature is lost forever.
I like on the mythic spoilers page for this. So you can see the flavor text continues on the front and back. It's Jace going. Clearly, it indicates the etheric azimuth of a cryptic objective. And
Yeah.
the first comment on the mythic spoiler page is just Jace, shut up.
I'm looking forward to Shipwreck, Jace.
All right, that's going to do it for today.
Yeah, this is lots of
Yeah.
interesting and exciting things to talk about. Cool things happening in Magic.
Definitely.
Ixalan continues to look rad AF.
Excited about it. Pre-release is Saturday,
September
16th.
Yep.
Live on twitch.tv/LoadingReadyRun, starting at 11 a.m. Pacific time.
Ooh, with our very exciting guests, we have Noah Bradley, noted Magic artist.
Jeremy Knoll from Star City Games.
Sick. Lee Sharp from Wizards of the Coast.
And streamer writer Emma Handy, aka MTG.
And then, as far as I know, you two, Cameron and Adam.
Yeah.
Regular.
Those are the less exciting.
Those are the less
people
exciting
coming.
people. I think after this one, going into next year, I'm going to try to start switching it up a little bit. More different Loading Ready Run members. But yeah,
All right.
that would be fun.
Yeah.
Hashtag PPRPs.
Yes. Yeah.
Let's teach Magic to, or teach Beige to play Magic.
That's what Arena's for, right?
Yeah, there we
That's
go.
true, actually.
Yeah. We'll give Beej Arena, and then we'll get him in the PP.
We'll force him to sign up for the closed
Yeah.
beta.
So yeah, that's going to do it for this week. As a reminder, this podcast is brought to you by CardKingdom.com, and like everything that we do, I didn't mention it at the top of the show, but Patreon.com/LoadingReadyRun supports not only this show but all this stuff that we do. We appreciate it if you check it out.
Yeah, we literally couldn't do it without you, so thank you so much for your support.
Talk to you next time. Bye.
Bye.